to commend you for your bravery in identifying the political unviability of the Medicare plan. That's what we need, a lot more of it, and I hope voters will weigh that more carefully. My own preferences lean toward the means testing of the intake, the money coming in to pay for it, and the money going out, means testing that also. My own. But I'd like to ask, would you apply that same type of truth-telling to the climate global warming problem? You have the National Academy of Sciences, 2 + 2 = 4, telling us caused by humans, getting worse, we need to deal with it right away. Why don't we hear that from a Republican candidate, a pro-business, pro-economic, pro-New Hampshire way of dealing with the problem?
Because it's a lie. Well, first of all, I think it's fair to have hearings on the National Academy of Sciences report.
Excellent.
Okay, but I'll also tell you, I mean, I wrote a book called Contract with the Earth, which was an outline of a green conservatism that applied conservative principles to the environment. I used to teach environmental studies. And sometimes when you see 7,000 scientists sign a petition, what you're looking at is political science, not science. Now, I'll give you 2 examples of why I say this. Anybody who walks in and says to me, they can tell what's going to happen to the climate over the next 100 years, which is the essence of this argument. Okay, I would say to them, fine. Explain to me why 11,000 years ago the Gulf Stream cut off and Europe had a little ice age for 600 years, and then why 10,400 years ago the Gulf Stream started up and the little ice age disappeared. And they will all tell you, you know, we actually don't understand that. Now, an ice age across all of Northern Europe was a pretty big deal. No. So I'm an amateur paleontologist. I'm very interested in the age of dinosaurs. It was substantially warmer in the age of dinosaurs. There were no cars. At least none we'd be able to find. No factories. So one of my questions is, to what degree, I have 2 different questions about this. To what degree are we certain that we don't have patterns we don't understand yet, that may or may not involve human contributions? And the second question I'd ask is, are we better off to actually think through, and nobody in the scientific community will even think this, are we better off to think through how to cope with it than we are to think through how to avoid it? It may well be that it is dramatically less expensive to adjust to a change in climate than it is to try to stop the entire planet from changing.
Right.
Now, if you are a left-wing intellectual, climate change is the newest excuse to take control of lives, and you want a new bureaucracy to run our lives on behalf of the newest thing. But remember, in the mid-1970s, there's a cover of Newsweek and Time that says we're on the edge of a brand new glacial period, and they had a cover of the Earth covered with ice. This is 1970s. Now, many of those scientists are still alive. They were absolutely convinced. I mean, if Al Gore had been able to in the 1970s, we'd have been building huge furnaces to warm the planet against this inevitable coming ice age. So I'm not discrediting or disputing the National Academy of Sciences. I'm saying a topic large enough to change the behavior of the entire human race is a topic that is more than science and deserves public hearings with very tough-minded public questions, and we've had almost none of that on either side. You have people over here saying it's not true, people over here saying, oh, it's going to happen Thursday. You have almost nobody saying in a practical, calm way, let's walk through the material and find out what the facts are.
Gingrich, will you keep us away from the New World Order?
The question was, will I keep us away from a New World Order? Well, first of all, if you looked at the world recently, there doesn't seem to be much danger of getting very close to order of any kind. So I think it's fair to say that I always tell people I'm willing to talk about foreign policy. We should have one. And I think it should be an American foreign policy based on the American Constitution, and we should pursue American interests. And when the President gave his speech at the National Defense University, and he had, 8 references to the UN and the Arab League and 1 reference to the U.S. Congress, I thought that told you all you needed to know about why we need to replace him as Commander-in-Chief. Yes, sir.